In this world, there is one thing that is inescapable. There is no way to escape it. Everyone, every living thing on earth must go through this thing, and it is death. Every mythology has a character for death. Every mythology, Norse, Greek, Egyptian mythology, each of these mythologies have a character for death. And I'm going to try my best to go through basically all of them. So it's going to be a long journey. Join me as I try to attempt to name all the gods that are associated with death. And believe me, it's going to be amazing. So join me as we take a walk through this list. Hey there everybody, my name is Mark Terrence and this is Mark's Myth and Legend. This is where we talk about things mythological, things mythical creatures, historical events, and things that you think might have happened that did not happen, and things that, conspiracy kind of things that you may not believe to have happened. This is where we'll talk about it. So if you like what you've seen so far on this page, on this channel, kindly subscribe to this channel and give this video a thumbs up so that other people can get to see our content and give us more encouragement to create this amazing content that we create. Now, if you're still here by now, it means you're curious to know what we have in this list. And believe me, we cover, if not everything, we covered almost everything. Now, let's go. First of all, we'll be starting from the gods that a lot of people don't get to mention. Gods that never really make it to the front of the TV screens when it comes to naming deities. Now, we're going to West Africa to start with the Yoruba mythology. Now, in the Yoruba mythology, we have three deities that are associated with death. These three deities are Eshu. Now, Eshu is a trickster. Now, Eshu appears in three different ways in three different timelines. In one, he's a messenger of Ifa who is sent messages round the whole realm, round the whole universe. In another, he's Eshu Elegua, where he's the god of the underworld. Now, I won't really go into much details about these deities because the list is extremely long, and if you want me to go into details of each and every one of these deities, write it in the comment section as the video goes on. Then we'll make a long video for all these deities. Now, the second deity that is associated with death in the Yoruba mythology is Iku. Iku is the personification for death. The name basically means death in Yoruba. Third deity is Yowa. Now, Yowa is the goddess of the graveyard, underworld, and virgins. Now, there's a long story of how she was sent to the other world to protect her by her father from the deity called Shango, as he had his eyes on her. We move on to the Igbo mythology. Igbo mythology has two major characters that are associated with death. We have the Ogbonabali. Ogbonabali is the personification for death. When it comes to killing criminals, when it comes to unaliving criminals who have done grievous things, Ogbonabali is the one to do the job. Second is the goddess of the underworld, the goddess of earth, known as Allah. Now, she goes by many names. She goes by Allah, Odinala, Odinani, Ani. Now, she goes by a lot of names, but basically she's earth goddess and also the goddess of the underworld. Now, moving on from Nigeria, we'll go on to Ghana. Now, in Ghana, we talk about the Akan mythology. The Akan mythology has a particular deity called the Owo. Now, Owo is said to be the god of death and destruction. Now, Owo was said to have been created by Odomankoma. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that well, but yeah, Owo was said to have been created by Odomankoma. It was created for the sole reason for the unalivement of human beings and also deities like Odomankoma himself. He's more or less like the fail-safe when everything goes bad. Take him as a doomsday button. You press him, he does the job. He goes around and destroys everything. Now, that is what he's believed to be. Now we'll move on to Somali. In Somali, we talk about this particular deity called Hur. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that well, but it's Hur, H-U-R. And this deity is basically the messenger of death. Now, this deity is similar to Horus in the ancient Egyptian mythology, with the appearance and the shape of the falcon on the head. Now talking about Horus, we need to just move into Egyptian mythology. Egyptian mythology has a lot. Egyptian mythology, there are two things I notice about Egyptian mythology. Egyptian mythology has a lot of gods of war and a lot of gods of the underworld. Now, a lot of gods associated with death. The first and the most obvious being Anubis. And now, Anubis is the jackal headed deity who is in charge of who comes in and who goes out of the underworld. He's more like the gatekeeper of the underworld. Safe to say, he does what Cerberus does in Greek mythology. Now we move on to Osiris. Osiris is the lord of the underworld. He's basically the one who presides over everything that happens in the underworld. Now we have the four sons of Horus. To be able not so I won't really butcher the name very badly. I would have to look at my note for this one. So we have Hapi, Duamutef, Imset, and Kebesenov. They are all believed to protect the organs of the deceased. If you've watched the process of mummification, there are 4 canopy jars that are always placed where the organs of each of the subjects who is about to be mummified are being removed and placed into. Now, these 4 canopy jars represent each of the 4 sons of Horus. Now, it's believed that these canopy jars protect the organs of these persons before they get mummified. Now moving on. Now we have a god that is very closely tied to Osiris, which is Seka, the god of the dead. We can't talk about all the Egyptian gods of the underworld without mentioning Anubis' brother, Wepwawet. Now, Wepwawet, I really don't know if I'm pronouncing this well, but Wepwawet is believed to be one of the deities who can grant you access into the underworld. Now, how true that is a little bit, because I know he's also closely related to war. Now we'll move a little bit from there and go to the Mesopotamian mythology. Now, in the Mesopotamian mythology, we have Namar. Namar is believed to be the god of diseases. I don't know if I put that. Those names are really making me miss some. Really making my tongue twist. Now we have who we call the first lady of the underworld, Ereshkigal. Ereshkigal is that deity who is believed to be the mother of the great earth. Now it's funny because she's believed to be the mother of the great earth and also the queen of Kor. Kor is kind of like the land of the dead in Mesopotamian mythology. There is also the second in command, the second lord of the underworld, which is Nergal. Nergal is basically the deity associated with death and diseases. Now there are a few more, but really I'm just really trying to like scroll through the major ones that I can think of. Now in the Albanian mythology we have the Jal and Motja. The Jal is basically the personification for the devil himself, and Motja is they call him Grim Reaper kind of thing. He's more like Grim Reaper. He comes and takes the soul of the dead when he's ready. Now the Celtic has something similar called Ankau. Ankau is basically a servant to death himself. He appears like a man or a skeleton or a shadow covered in black robe, and he basically comes to collect the souls of the dead or the souls of the living while they are almost about to die. Basically, but you know what I mean. He's basically that character that is like Grim Reaper. Some people believe that he was the first child of Adam and Eve. I'm not saying it's true, I'm not saying it's false, but it's a law. And the second law is that this is the soul of the first person that dies every year. Which one is true? I don't know. Same in Celtic, we have Morrigan. Morrigan is basically, now Morrigan is a complex character, if I may. Morrigan is a complex character. She's basically associated with a lot of things: war, death, victory, loss. Like, she's believed to be able to influence victory in battle, and she's also believed to be able to influence massive death in battle also. Well, you don't talk about death and things like that without looking at Norse mythology, because Norse mythology there's basically a whole prophecy about the death of the whole world. So we'll be starting by Freya. Freya is that deity of the representation of love, but she's also believed to take half of every person that dies in the battlefield. A whole whooping half of every person that dies in the battlefield goes to Freya. Now, there's this other deity called Jeff John. I really don't know how to pronounce it, but Jeff John. Jeff John is believed to oversee the death of every virgin. Now, there's also Odin. Odin, the ruler of Valhalla, the Asgard king. He's believed to take the other half. Well, maybe not the other half, but he's believed to also take half of those who dies in battlefield and take them to Valhalla and train them in preparation for Ragnarok. I guess maybe Freya takes the bad ones and Odin takes the good ones and train them in order to prepare for Ragnarok. Then we have Ran. Ran is the sea goddess who takes the soul of every person who drowns in the sea. We are getting to the part where we have a lot of names to call. We are going to Greek mythology. Now, Greek mythology has a lot of them. Believe me, a lot of deities associated with death. I'll just go through the major ones. Let's get Hades, the ruler of the underworld, and Persephone, the first lady, the queen of the underworld, out of the way. They are basic knowledge. Everybody knows who they are. Hades is Zeus's brother. Persephone also has a mother who lives in Olympus, but due to one thing, Hades captured Persephone. Now there was a cost list on Persephone, so she can't spend all her time in the underworld. She has to go through the underworld, back to spend some seasons in the underworld, spend the rest of the season in Olympus, and that's basically how that relationship is. But it's weird like that. Now that we've gotten them out of the way, let's focus on others. We have Achilles. Now, these words, I'm really not good with words, but every word I pronounce, I'll make sure I put the spelling in. I'll put the spelling somewhere. Achilles. This is goddess of sorrow. Now, for the longest time, I thought it was Osiris that was the goddess of sorrow, but I think maybe they coexist as the goddess of sorrow, and also she's also the goddess of poisons. She symbolizes what they call the mist of death. Greek mythology just has characters that would make you. Now we have Apollo. Apollo is basically the god of music, archery, and diseases. I did that again. I just did that again. Diseases. We have Atropos, one of the sisters of faith. Now, Atropos is believed to be the one in charge of cutting the thread of life when she believes that it's your time to go. Then we have Erebus, the god of darkness. We have Charon. Charon is basically the ferryman you pay money to cross into the underworld. You pay money to cross into the underworld, the one that takes soul through the sea of Styx and all the seas in the underworld. Then we have all the gods of this seas in the underworld. We have the god of Styx, the god of Lethe, the god of Acheron, and so on and so forth. Right now, my head is overloading, but that's as much as I can remember. Now we have Ceres, goddess of violent death, and Machaira, goddess of blessed death. That's Greek mythology for you. Now we have a lot more in Greek, but like I said, I'm just going through the major ones. Now let's move on to Asia. In Korea, we have King Yama. I really don't know much about King Yama, but his name came up. And in Chinese, now Chinese is another place whereby I think most of their deities in Chinese mythology are death related. Now in Chinese mythology, we have King Yan, god of death. Basically, he's one of the 10 kings of hell, or he's like number 5, I think. I'll get to him. He basically oversees everything that happens in hell. Now he's like the big boss. Now let's just go over the 10 kings of hell and what they do and what they stand for. Now, so I won't be doing mistake, I would also be looking into my notes for this one because the names are not really easy for me to pronounce. So the first king is called King Guan Wang. Now he basically decides based on his record what these deceased persons have done, what these souls have done, and decides where they should go. If they should go to a particular, because each of the kings have a particular set of punishment for a particular set of sin. So he decides which of the kings you should go to, or if you are to be reincarnated. The second king is called Shu Jiang Wang. He basically oversees serious crimes like murder. The third king is Song Ding Wang. Now, Song Ding Wang basically punishes ungrateful people and disrespectful people who have been disrespectful to elders. The fourth king is called Wu Guan Wang. He basically deals with cheaters and liars. Why are you cheating? Why are you lying? Now, the fifth king, who is the overseer, the first person I mentioned, which is King Yan. His full name is Yan Luo Wang. He's, like I said, he's the overseer. He basically decides, he oversees all the decisions, and he oversees the punishment for the major crimes. Now, what they mean by major crimes, I really don't know, but it says that he oversees the major crimes, the major sins, and he passes the final judgment, I think. The sixth king is Bian Chen Wang. He punishes the acts of injustice and corruption. The seventh king is Tai Sham Wang. He punishes the act of violence and cruelty. The eighth king is Du Shi Wang. He punishes people that causes division and discord between other people. Now, the ninth king is Ping Deng Wang. Ping Deng Wang punishes disloyal people and dishonest people. Now, the 10th king and the last on this list is Xuan Lung Wang. Now, he basically processes who is to be reincarnated. Now, if you've gone through your punishment in the afterlife, he is the one that will decide if you've gone through enough punishment and you are to be reincarnated or not. Now, if you've gotten to this part of the video, I want to say a big thank you for watching this full list with me. Now, if there's anyone you feel I'm missing out, write it in the comment section. Tell me. If you also want a full video talking about each of these deity, also write it in the comment section so that we can explore this together. I know there's more to learn, there's more to talk about, but basically, thank you for joining me in this adventure of listing all the deities associated with death. And this is gonna be like one of my longest video on this platform so far, but if you enjoy this video, kindly give this video a thumbs up, share this with anybody that you feel might enjoy from this content, and also don't forget to subscribe and click the bell button, because I would like to bring more content to this platform. And honestly, you watching this makes my day, you enjoying this makes my day, and you sharing this content makes my day. Thank you so much for joining. This is Max Myth and Legend, where we talk about everything mythology, history, and everything related. Thank you so much.